The last time we spoke, you've made that transition from the stage to the screen. What has that journey been like for you?
Oh, it's been awesome, and there was a whole pandemic in between. But yeah, it's been really cool getting to explore a different style of acting. Obviously with stage, it's you have the audience, which has the instant sort of gratification and instant appreciation for what you're doing. Whereas with TV, the hardest thing for me has been we record these things and then we just sit on them for a little bit. So we're airing an episode this coming Monday, which is about my character's sort of arc, and we've sort of just been sitting on this episode for a few months now. We filmed it, I want to say 2 months ago, and so it's cool sort of leaving something and letting it go and then returning to it, and it's almost like a time machine. You get to remember the emotions you were going through while you were filming that episode. Oh, I had a cold that week and I remember it being really hard to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Stuff like that. But also the thing that's cool about TV is you do a couple takes of the scene. They switch the camera around, they switch the lighting, and then you never touch that scene again. So if it's a really hard scene, you hunker down for one day and you film that and you're exhausted and all of that, then you never have to worry about it. With Broadway, as you saw in Beautiful, like I had to have mental breakdowns eight times a week. It's exhausting.
Yeah. You made your television debut in Power Book 2 Ghost. What did you learn from that experience that you've now been able to bring over to 4400?
Everything, man. It was sort of I sent a letter to Courtney Kemp, the showrunner of Ghost, and I said, I truly believe that you having me on your show is one of the reasons that I was able to seamlessly transition into this show with more responsibility of being a series regular rather than just a recurring guest star. I was able to create a character because I'm used to creating characters in a 2.5 long time frame for Broadway shows. So, but from when you first meet them to the end of the show, that's what I have to worry about. Whereas with this, you meet them one episode, then the next episode, then the next episode, and you're constantly learning things. And in a Broadway show, you have parameters of who they are, what they do, all those things. Whereas with this, I knew my character, Logan Kaminsky. I knew him from the pilot episode, and that was it. And any questions I had, they're very hesitant about what they want to tell you because they don't want you to get married to certain ideas. And then, like if you find out episode 10 that you're the bad guy of the series, you don't want to start bleeding that, because us actors, we want to really drop little Easter eggs. And so they don't want to tell you everything because they want it to be a natural progression. And so it was this weird, sort of having to navigate knowing certain things and wanting to create a fully realized character, but also only having so much information. And doing Ghost sort of brought that awareness to me. So then when I transitioned into 4400, I was able to I knew what I was doing a little bit more. It also, freed me up in front of a camera because I mean, I'm sure you can even understand as soon as a camera's on you, you like freeze up a little bit. You get a little bit more postured. You start thinking about, how you're delivering lines and all of that. But in reality, you just need to do it more and get it out of your system. So then the camera just becomes a scene partner.
4400, what can you tease about what audiences can expect from Logan in these next couple of episodes?
I think that what people are going to experience is they're going to start understanding him a little bit more. Because Kevin, right now, people don't love my guy.
Yeah.
It's been hilarious seeing people so passionately, frustrated with Logan because he's got so many dimensions and so many, layers to him because for 16 years, he thought this woman left him. And then she comes back and she's like, no, I didn't leave. I was abducted. And then he has to just accept that. Of course, that's going to be hard for him to accept. And so a lot of people are frustrated with that. And I think that especially in the episode that's airing on Monday, which is called the Kaminsky experience. And it's all about his experience and what he went through and all of that sort of stuff. And I think that they're going to get a good understanding of who this guy is and why he functions the way that he does, why he is so hesitant to let his daughter meet Shanice, meet his wife,
Mhm.
why he's tiptoeing around so many things, and you know why he's lashed out a few times and why he's frustrated. You know, it's and why it they're I think they're just going to see a new version of this guy. And the prior episodes that were leading up to this episode, I think they're going to make a lot more sense.
When the 4400 are brought back to present day, we see the effects that it has on everyone's relationship. How did you and Brittany approach the dynamic between your two characters?
Well, from day one of the first scenes we shot was the protest scene where Logan and Shanice first meet, our meet cute. And with that, you know, we talked about it because we met a couple times before we even moved out to Chicago to start filming, and we spoke about it and just talked through things. And we were talking a little bit about how we have only a limited amount of time and a limited amount of scenes for people to understand the level of love that they had. We had the meet cute at the protest, and then the first scene of the series is when I'm waking Shanice up and she's laying there and all these things. And so when that happens, we were saying like people need to fall in love with these characters and with their love. You know, like from the get, people need to go, oh, that's love. Like that's the love that we all want. That's the I got your back love.
Mhm.
So that when she disappears and then she comes back, it's even more devastating because you're really rooting for them. So the way we've approached our relationship is just that it's that real love, the love that everyone wants, the love that everyone hopes is out there, so that every interaction they have is just met with such resistance and such tension and all of those things, so that the payoff for whatever happens, whether they get together or they end up deciding they shouldn't, is either that much more gratifying or that much more devastating.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, fans have really had a strong reaction to your character. What has that experience been like, getting to see their reactions in the midst of filming? And does is there initial reactions to Logan the same that you had when you read the pilot episode?
It has been such a surprise to see people so fervently against him, not so much against him, but they're so frustrated with him. Because to
Yeah.
me, I've spent so much time with this guy. I get him. I understand why he moves the way that he does. Like I said before, 16 years he worked. He worked on himself. He went to therapy. He went to group therapy, grief group, and he raised his daughter on his own and all these things. And then she returns and she gives him this, what sounds like this cockamamie story about, oh, I disappeared and now I'm back. And he's like, what? So I get it, but also I understand why fans are so frustrated, because and how can you not love
Yeah.
Brittany Shanice? Like, she is so damn lovable. Of course you're gonna take her side. So you're like, you know what? Like, this Logan guy, he can take a hike, but at the end of the day, I think that I was surprised because I understood him so much, and I understood why he acted the way that he did and why he's so protective of Mariah. And, knowing how much he loves Mariah, of course he's going to be hesitant to let her see Shanice and all that. But I was hoping that people would understand him a little bit more.
Yeah, there's so many layers to your character. Which was the most challenging to bring to life?
Honestly, not so much bring to life, but it was more of a personal hurdle for me of his age, because after 16 years of her being gone, like, there was this imposter syndrome that I was like, and Justine, who does my makeup, she puts age makeup on me, the wrinkles, and they gray my hair and all that. But anytime I look in the mirror, I'm like, you're a fraud, you're a phony. So like, there was definitely this imposter syndrome that I had to get over and just accept that, I belong here. And I have weight to me. I have gravitas, I'm grounded, and that I'm supposed to be here for a reason, and that I was cast in the role because I bring something that other people didn't. But that's in everything that I do, man. I mean, in Beautiful on Broadway, I was waking up every day waiting for them to tell me, actually, we got the wrong guy. So I'm hoping that someday that imposter syndrome will go away. But yeah, that was definitely the hardest part, is and playing it truthfully, you know, like, because at the point that you meet Logan and then 16 years later, there there's not a huge difference in terms of the way you move and all of that stuff. It's not like I'm coming back as like I'm an old man, you know. I just come back a little bit older, a little bit more mature, a little bit more poised, but making sure that it wasn't this caricature of a middle-aged man, you know.
Mhm. And the show tackles so many timely and relevant themes. When you're working on a project that has so much to say, does that bring a different weight slash expectation to it?
Of course. I mean, it's you have to handle it delicately and make sure that you're handling it truthfully, and you're honoring these stories, because there are people who are watching it, let alone the people who are in the show who experience these things. There are people who are watching it who are going to be able to call you out on what you're addressing. So, you know, our writers and our showrunner, Ariana Jackson, you know, they handle it so delicately, and they handle it so with pride, you know, because it's a big responsibility to shine a light on these things. And that's our job as artists, right? Is to shine a light on, or to put a mirror on reality and show what is happening. And, you know, it's disheartening because when we first, before we even started filming, there were so many people that were meeting our show with you know, resistance before the show even came out. And so when that happened, it made me go, do you not see that you're the problem? You know, so it's like our show is literally showing the problem that people are facing our show with. So it's a story that needs to be told. It's many stories that need to be told, and we tell it pretty damn well, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And final question for you. If we're lucky enough to get a second season, where do you want to see Logan's storyline head?
I want a superpower, Kevin. Damn it. I'm coming back with super strength, and you know, I want them to explore his relationship with Shanice more, actually. Like I really want, I want to see what's still lingering and all of that stuff. And I would love for him to have a superpower, actually.